First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim HaKakodash. Yahweh is to this world, the Ignorally calls God. Yahushua is to this world, the Ignorally calls Jesus. Ba'ashim means in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. This is 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 22. It says, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear in sown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." Okay, and this is going into what is soon coming, right? Hyperinflation, economic collapse, and hard times, which, everyone is feeling it. If you look at, you go to the grocery store, you see the prices, everything is going up, and life is getting harder day by day, and it's not going to stop. So once people realize that it's not going to stop, and they start rebelling, and they start coming against this government, and this whole thing with Iran and United States keeps escalating, the Strait of Hormuz, Russia, Ukraine, there are multiple things that are going to make this cookie crumble, okay? Because this is Rome reincarnated. And when you go into the history of Rome, it talks about how Rome fell by more than one way, right? It was multiple things that made it fall: economic, political, religious, societal, everything. And you can't point the finger, oh, this is what started it. So it's going to be the same thing. Life is going to get more difficult. And once they switch over to that digital system, which in order to do that, they have to collapse this one and bring in the new, this is what we're going to see. The sown places are going to appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Right, so your Walmarts, your Sam's Clubs, your Costco's, your BJ's, your gas stations, your anywhere where there are supplies, there's food, there's water, in an instant it's going to be taken, okay? Because that's what people know how to do, is they know how to panic, right? And the main thing is panic buying. So, we already saw a little glimpse of this in 2020, but they're doing it with toilet paper, which shows you how insane, these American people are. Is they're going out here buying toilet paper instead of buying the essentials, not perishables. They're buying fucking toilet paper. So, hey, it's just we're living in a crazy world, and it's only gonna get crazier. So verse 23 says, "And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run." So friends are going to fight like enemies. And when you go into 2 Ezra chapter, I believe it's 15, right, in verse 19, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." So that is what's going to get friends fighting like enemies, is when they can't eat and when times are difficult. They're going to figure out all their so-called morals and their so-called, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Muslim. They're going to figure out all that. They're going to forget it all, and they're going to just ultimately try to survive. Which, that's where we're going to really see this thing turn up. That's when you're going to really see the flesh. You're going to really see some savages out here. Because, hey, let's actually go back to that chapter. 2 Ezra 15 and verse 16, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So, people are not going to, give a F about what the governor, the president, the boss says. The course of their actions is going to be in their own power. People are going to do whatever they want to do. And that's why, when you read the scriptures, it talks about how 7 women shall cleave unto one man, a righteous man, saying, "We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." So women are going to be the biggest targets, okay? Because they're going to realize that they can't do it by themselves, that they need a man. They can't fight a whole gang of men. And, if they get caught out there alone, you already know what's going to happen. So, this is a part of what we're seeing with these women is that, it goes back to, Eve and the serpent. They've bitten of that fruit. They've followed the ways of the serpent and bit into this feminism, equality, that they don't need a man. And it's pushed everywhere you see, everywhere you go, everything you look at. That's the message is, go against God, which that's what feminism is going against the ways of the Most High. Because the order of the Most High is the Father, the Son, the man, the woman, and then the children. So, and this is why ultimately Yahushua needs to come back. And, this devil has to go because nothing's going to change unless Yahushua comes back. There is no make America great again, which that's really saying make America white again. There is no laws and legislations that they're going to pass, and they're not going to, there's another movement, make America healthy again, right? Which I forgot his name, but, he was essentially trying to ban seed oils and Red 40 and all these things. But guess what? That's still not going to be enough. Because this earth needs a total cleanse. And it starts by taking the people in power out of power. Because as it says, as is the ruler, so are the people. If there is a wicked king, the people are going to be wicked. Because the influence that is being pushed. If there is a righteous king, the people are going to be righteous because of their influence. So that's why influence is one of the most powerful things, because it's ultimately control at the end of the day. If they can, I think it was Rockefeller or one of the Rothschilds that said that. He said, I care not about who is in power, but give me control of the money. Right. The phrase you're quoting is actually, give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws. The famous saying is incorrectly linked to the Rockefeller Rothschilds families. Historical research shows no proof to that any member of the banking families ever said it. Since people often attribute the line to Mayer Amschel Rothschild, who started a big banking family, experts on quotes note that the saying first appeared in print in the early 1900s, long after Rothschild died. So they're essentially saying that, now it was said. But the point still stands, is the people really at the top, they don't care about the laws and legislations. They just care about the influence. And money is one of the things that influences people the most. Right? You've heard it, everyone has a price. You've heard that a million times. Everyone has a price, which is not true. The elect don't have a price. And that's why the scriptures say that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. But it's not possible. So the true believers are not going to sell out no matter what. But people that don't believe, they do have a price. And that's why they can ultimately be controlled. So let's go back. It says, back to 2 Ezra 6. 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 24. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. And that is what we're striving for. Right? You have to remember the end goal and what's coming, or else you're going to get bitter, you're going to lose sight and ultimately fall off if you don't think about why you're doing this, if you don't count the costs. Because this is about deliverance. This is about when everything collapses, the Lord taking care of you. And that's the only way you're going to be taken care of, because this is not a carnal problem. What's coming? What's coming is not of man. It is of the Heavenly Father and His Son. And the only way that you are going to be protected is if you believe in the Heavenly Father and His Son and are striving to do the right thing every single day. Or else you're going to be cooked. You're going to be completely through out here. And the thing is that, you're going to be deceived. I'll put it like that. Because when you go to Zephaniah chapter 1, Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 14, it says, the great day of Yahweh is near, it is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahweh, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Right, so just imagine that. If it says the mighty man is going to cry bitterly, that says a lot. It says that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. So this is very important, because here it is, you're going to have a lot of people in the mentality of, oh, I'll just take care of myself. I got my guns. I got a bunker. I got food. I'll figure it out. I'll kill people if I have to. But even then, the Lord is having you, so you're literally walking blind, not even knowing it. That's the thing, is that he is in control of everything. So it says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So your money is not going to save you. Anything carnal isn't going to save you, is the point. Only that faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And what's coming is that fire, which speedily is going to wipe out everything here. Right? You read Jeremiah 50:51, it talks about how America is going to become a straight desert, annihilated. So it's just a matter of time. And this is ultimately why this thing is all about enduring, staying firm, standing stiffly, no matter what you go through, and enduring unto the end. So, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world, right? The world of Esau, Edom. It says, and the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth, and the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning, right? So some of us are not going to see death, right? Some of us are going to, we're born and we're never going to die again. We're going to be changed into those incorruptible bodies and immortal. And when it talks about, the heart of their inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning, I believe that's going into how, the Israelites, the law, statutes, and commandments are going to be put in our inward parts. Right? Every single Israelite is going to know all the laws from a little baby. So, verse 27, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which hath been so long without fruit shall be declared. And that is what we're seeing right now, is that faith is flourishing. True faith is flourishing through the elect. And the truth is coming out. The truth of what's really taking place in this world is coming out. So, meditate on these things, because this is real life. This is not just a fairy tale, something to, open up the Bible when you're bored. And no, you got to be looking at these events, because the Bible is a living book, and we're witnessing it. So hopefully this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem HaKadosh, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me the truth. Shalom to you, Shalom.